Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Curious Currents, the marine biology podcast where two curious minds learn about the wonders and the weirdos of the ocean together. I'm Emily, master's graduate, background in marine biology and a passion for the ocean.
And I'm Shiv. I'm clueless, but curious.
And you're joining us for episode 3 of our Miniature Marvel series, the series where we're talking all about the little guys of the big blue. Today we're diving into the world of one of the ocean's strangest residents, I have to say, from their oddly shaped bodies and unique, we'll say, swimming style, and their complex love lives. So saddle up, because today we're talking all about seahorses.
I think your puns may be one of my favourite things of the day.
So I'm going to be honest, before I started researching this episode,
Yeah.
I knew nothing about seahorses. I really didn't. They really didn't interest me very much.
They're so funky looking.
Yeah, but I thought they were overrated.
Okay.
They can't even swim.
Yeah. Wait, you said they had a unique swimming style.
Unique isn't it's crap.
As in it's not swimming.
But I have changed my mind a little bit about seahorses.
Okay.
I learned a lot. First thing I learned is that they're fish. I thought it was like like octopuses live in the sea, but they're not fish. Crabs aren't fish. I thought they were their own thing.
I guess I do think that.
Because they're so weird. They look nothing like fish. So they're classed as fish because they breathe through gills, they have a swim bladder, they swim using fins. That's the criteria.
I'm sorry, but it sounds like they do swim.
They are part of the ray-finned branch of fish, which is, you can have a go at pronouncing that word there if you like.
Ooh, that is a word to pronounce.
Yeah.
Actinopatigi. Actinopatigi.
Not far off. Actinopterygii.
Not far off is a different word entirely.
Also known
I love the
as
support.
ray-finned fish. So within the fish, you've got the ray-finned fish and the lobe-finned fish. The lobed-finned fish are what evolved into us, basically. They're the ones that came onto land.
Oh.
So there's not many of them left. But the ray-finned fish make up 96% of
Can I
all
interrupt
existing
with
fish.
a fact that I recently learned from a museum visit?
Yes.
Whales, they evolved with, I didn't know the word until right now, but like the lobed ones that like came out of the land, and they were full up on land, breathing, probably not talking, and then they were like, fuck this shit, straight back into the water.
Yeah.
And like I was at a museum and they had like they pointed out like the wrist bones in some whales that they still have, and that blew my mind.
Me too when I learned that fact.
Yeah.
Insane. They went, you know what, fish are onto something.
Yeah.
It's shite up here.
Yeah, they were like, I see where this is going. It's not a bit of me. It's not a bit of me.
I'm going...
Couple of million years from now, billion years even, it's not going to be a bit of me. I'm just going to freak everybody out in the ocean instead and like be way too intelligent. But shout out to the Whale Museum in Iceland.
So yeah, the ray-finned fish make up 96% of all existing fish species right now.
Okay.
Within that, you have another branch called the teleos fish.
Okay.
Within the teleos fish, we have Cygnathidae, I think it is.
Cygnathidae.
Happy for anyone to correct me.
Happy for anyone to correct with a voice note.
Yeah.
If you're just going to send us more words, I'm still going to have an issue with it. I'm dyslexic. That's why I don't have a script.
They include pipefish, sea dragons, and seahorses.
Okay, I have a couple of things here I want to dissect before we move on to the next little part. One, could you give me an example of the ray-finned type?
So, like, a clownfish is a ray-finned fish.
Okay.
It
and then what was that? You then went into another category?
Lobe-finned.
Lobe-finned was the people one, though.
Yeah, there is. I do want to cover these fish in an episode. The coelacanths are lobe-finned fish. You can...
Man, she just said that word at me like I knew what a coelacanth was. All right, continue.
It's mostly to do with the shape, like the shape of the fins, the pectoral fins, the ones they're using to
Okay.
Steer the ones on the sides.
That was the ray finned and the
Lobe.
and then you said the ray finned are broken down into other categories. What were they?
Yeah, so then we go into the teleost fish.
What's a version of teleos?
They are... So the kind of defining characteristic is to do with the jawbones
Oh, okay.
of fish.
I wasn't expecting you to go there, but okay.
Yeah, they have movable mouth parts, basically.
Okay.
So it can be literally anything. Well, not literally anything, but a lot of...
I mean, when you
stuff.
say do a fish impression, I immediately move my mouth up and down like a goldfish. Oh, is a goldfish one?
Yeah.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, it's to do with, like, the separate jaws, because...
Okay.
We'll get into some fish that have got
Yeah,
some
well,
freaky
yeah.
goings on in there. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, we can, like, you can explain deeper, but, and then there was another one, and is that the seahorses?
Yes, then we get into the seahorses, which is
Okay.
a family.
Yeah.
So you got, like, you've got, like, the kingdom, the phylum, the class, and
then the other point that I wanted to bring up from your previous little bullet, what the fuck is a sea dragon, and why is that not a part of this? You don't know how hard that was to keep in.
They look very similar to seahorses. They just have a bit extra bits going on.
Oh, is that it?
They look more leafy. I would say they look more leafy than a seahorse looks.
Oh, so I probably seen one and thought it was just a seahorse?
Probably, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So they're slightly bigger and they're kind of bumpy, but they're a different species.
That's a different species?
Yeah.
That's not like the blue-ringed octopus, where it's like had different species, but it was just like different patterns and it was the same octopus.
They're related, but they're separate.
Are
separate
they like
genus.
the weird cousins, or are they like sisters?
I'd say more like sisters.
Okay. Yeah, they do look similar. Not twins, though.
Not twins, no.
Not twinsies.
So the genus for the seahorse
Yeah.
is called hippocampus. I did look up the meaning of it, and I got... Some people said that it translated to hippo meaning horse, and then campus meaning sea monster.
Yeah.
Some people translated it as bent horse, which, you know, both are accurate. So there is also a part in the human brain called the hippocampus.
Yeah.
So I thought, or the seahorse is named after that. No, the brain thing is named after the seahorse.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a seahorse, apparently. Anyway, so despite what they look like, the fact that they have a little monkey tail, they've got a horse-shaped head.
Monkey tail as in, like, does it function like a monkey's tail?
As in, it's super muscly and it can grab onto things like a hand can. Despite all that, they are fish. And there are more than 45 species of them, 2 of which are found in the UK. The 2 that are found in the UK are the spiny seahorse.
Okay.
And the short-snouted seahorse.
Are they colourful? What colours are they?
Not really.
Where would you find the colour ones? Tropics? Man, they have all the good stuff.
The tropics. Yeah, they do. It's because it's warm.
Yeah.
They're kind of sand-coloured, the ones in the UK. But yeah, we talked about chromatophores last week. They also have chromatophores, and that's what gives them their colour pigment.
Oh, you're going to have to remind...
You're
going to have to remind the audience. Not me, of course, because I definitely remember what that word means. Say it for me one more time.
They are specific colour cells that give animals their pigment.
Oh, yes, with the blue ringed octopus.
Yeah, what give it the blue rings.
All I needed was help jogging my memory. Mm-hmm. This is why I don't test well.
The seahorses range in size from 1/2 inch, which is the pygmy seahorse. They're actually super cute. They're tiny and they're kind of chubby. And you got ones that are a foot, which is appropriately named the big-bellied seahorse.
Do you know what? I think that's the one I think of.
Probably.
Yeah, with like just all of a sudden a bulging belly.
Well, it could just be a pregnant one.
Yeah. You're probably going to talk about this. Am I correct in saying males carry the babies?
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that. We can talk about it later. You probably have a plan.
I do. We're going to go into that later on, but it is one of the things that makes them so unique, because they were like the only animal that does that. A role reversal. But yeah, they typically live in shallow tropic and subtropic waters, with some found a little bit further north. They're able to tolerate a range of salinity.
Salinity as in like saltiness?
Yeah, because some of them are found in estuaries.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know that either. I thought they were strictly ocean-based.
Yeah, I thought they were sea horses.
Yeah.
Another friggin' exception to the rule. When will you stop lying to us?
There's always exceptions. And they live amongst kelp, seaweed, mangroves, anywhere that they can grip onto using those monkey tails.
What's a mangrove again?
So they're trees They're these really big trees found in
okay.
the tropics and the subtropics, and they're in intertidal
Yeah.
areas. Their roots reach into the water, and they're super important for protecting the coast against erosion, and they create great nurseries, so a lot of animals do use them for their young.
And that would that be one of the things that is in an estuary, or are there sometimes those in the sea?
They're
Along the
only
coast.
the intertidal zones,
Okay.
so they're like on the coast. They're like,
Yeah. I get you.
so that's generally where they're found. Some species, however, are associated with one particular habitat, like a sea fan. Some species are just associated with that one sea fan their whole life, and that's just where they live.
Sea fan being like one specific plant, as in like that.
Well, sea fans are corals, so they're not plants, they're animals. But yeah, that was just one example. But they can live like on kelp, one specific species of kelp, but just for example, it could be one specific sea fan.
Do they eat that?
No.
No.
So they eat.
So that's their house.
That's where they live, because they have to hold on to something, because they are not strong swimmers. So they have to hold really tightly onto something so they don't get swept away.
So it's so muscly.
Because they only have a dorsal fin for propulsion.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a tail fin, like most fish do, and that's what most fish
Oh.
use to move through the water is
turn.
their tail fin. But they've only got a dorsal one, and
They
it
can only go
beats-
forward.
No,
Oh.
they can. Although they're not strong swimmers because they can't go fast. They are the only fish that are really able to move up, down, forward, and back. Like, they have the whole range of motion.
I'm not gonna lie here and say this is computing for me. They can move in every direction, but they can't move well. It's just because they can't move fast.
They can't swim very fast or very well. If they swim too far, they die of stress and exhaustion.
They live in the water. They should have evolved with us.
The dorsal fin beats about 50 times per second. So it's going like super fast. It's just not getting them anywhere.
Oh my god. It's like they're living on a treadmill.
Yeah. Just barely.
Their
moving.
life is going down an escalator going up.
So this is why they just cling on to stuff. And that's how they disperse. So like they could cling on to something else that's floating in the water, and then they go along with that thing. So that's how they end up in different locations.
Yeah,
rather than
no,
them
I would
actively
also
swimming.
be stressed if that was how I got around.
Mainly their shape has been evolved to help them eat. Basically, by what they eat is the entire way they've evolved this way, to look like that.
Okay.
They also, this is the thing, I kept finding out cool things about them and then would read something else and be like, oh, see, this is why I wasn't invested. They have no teeth and they have no stomach.
But you just said they evolved to eat.
Their head shape and the way their body is shaped is to
Yeah.
help them eat what they eat. But they have no teeth, so they have to swallow their prey whole. But because they are small, their prey is small. So it's like,
Okay. What do they hunt?
they eat
Or
like
do they hunt?
zooplankton again, or
Yeah.
copepods, which is like little tiny crustacean like
So they eat
organisms.
babies.
They eat very small things, and they have no stomach, but they have a gut tube that's just
Super long?
constantly like taking out nutrients and then emptying. So they have to constantly
So
be
they go
eating.
straight to the intestines.
Yeah, so they can't store any food that is
Okay.
slowly digested and then use that energy. They have to be constantly eating.
That also sounds stressful.
And here's the thing. Seahorses have a 90% success rate when hunting, so they're super efficient at what they do. Like,
Oh.
they're so good at it. For comparison, a great white shark has a 55% hunting success rate.
Oh, damn, son.
Yeah.
You don't need to store food if you're that good.
And by, like, success rate when hunting, I mean, like, from the amount of pursuits that end up in a kill for
Yeah.
you to eat. 90% of them with
I mean, to be
seahorses.
fair, if I was like hunting babies, I probably would also have a really high success rate.
We talked about the blue-ringed octopus being an ambush predator. This is also an ambush predator.
Okay.
And this is where their weird anatomy kind of comes in. So they have like that really long snout,
Yeah.
and they move so slowly that they do not disturb the water column around them. So they just sneak up on food so slow and then suck them in real fast.
They do what real fast?
Suck them in real fast.
Suck 'em in.
They go. They have their curved neck is what allows them to kind of bend forward. I'm doing the motion as if I'm doing it.
You're doing the motion and sucking in, which is really, when you put it together, not a great... You should be saving that for your husband, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so super efficient hunters. Some of the most efficient in the ocean, which is barbaric to me.
You're like, oh, how are you so dumb yet so successful?
I know. They also have, incredible eyesight. Like, they can see so well, and they have color vision as well. So they can see in color. A lot of things in the ocean can't see in color.
So they can see the stuff that's really colorful, and you're like, I shouldn't eat that?
Yeah, they know don't eat that.
Cool.
They can also move each of their eyes independently.
Oh,
Like,
freaky deaky.
Yeah, like chameleons.
Not a fan of that. Not gonna lie.
Doesn't mean they have like a very limited blind spot though.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, so can they see up?
Yeah,
Can they see above them?
Yeah.
And they can see below them?
Yeah.
I suppose that's why their face is so skinny and their eyes are so big and on the sides of their face.
Yeah.
Creepy.
I also learned that apparently in humans we have cones and rods in our eyes, and it's the cones that facilitate color vision. Mm-hmm. Don't know that before. That's what seahorses have. They have cones. So that's how we know they can.
Because that's what when
color.
you go to your well, I wear glasses, which is why I know.
But because they have such good vision, they hunt during the day because that's what they rely on.
Rub it in.
That's what they rely on. Yeah. How does it feel knowing a seahorse can see better than you?
Honestly, they're also probably more productive in finding food than me too, and I can just go to a shop.
Another cool thing about them is that in addition to being really great hunters, they protect themselves from being hunted because they're covered in an armor. So their scales...
They're ready for war?
They are. Their
Sick.
scales have like adapted to be like these rigid skeletal plates rather than scales.
Okay.
Yeah, and the plates kind of like overlap with each other, so they slide past each other.
So they're like
how
proper like armor.
Yeah, so that's how they're able to move. And it's like an exoskeleton, really.
How alien. And do they, because they're really colourful, I remember what you were saying about the slugs, they hunted at night if they were darker, and if they were brighter, they hunted in the day. And these guys are pretty colourful? Do they hunt in the day or the night?
They hunt during the day because they rely on eyesight. Sea slugs they can't see very well.
Oh, yeah, because they have eyes that work.
Pretty
Must
well.
be nice. Must be nice.
Their plates are made of calcium phosphate, collagen, and water, if you're interested.
I kind of was, but also those words, again, know what they kind of mean, understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you get the vibe.
I get the vibe. The vibe is kind of cool.
They can change the colour and the texture of their skin as well.
Can you change the texture?
Yeah.
How do they change the texture?
They grow skin filaments and they can grow bumps called tubercules to match the texture of their environment. So they can just grow a little lump here and there.
Lumpy dumpies.
Yeah. Apparently pygmy seahorses are exceptionally good at it. They're the best ones.
Oh.
They do. It's the same kind of mechanism that octopuses use, but they take a bit longer to do it. Octopuses can kind of do it instantly. These guys can't really do it instantly. It takes them a while.
I'm sorry, octopuses can grow bumps and lumps?
Yeah!
Octopuses can grow bumps and lumps?
Yeah, they can change the texture. I can't wait for the octopus.
I actually genuinely...
Yeah, pygmy seahorses are apparently the best ones. They're the little tiny ones.
Oh.
They're really good at it. That's what they're known for. I was trying to figure out, because I really wanted to know why, if they're fish, why the hell do they look like that? Like, why do they look so bizarre?
Yeah.
Part of it is adapted to eat, and then I tried to look back to research the kind of evolutionary history, but I didn't get much, to be honest. Okay. They don't fossilize well, apparently. Oh. So there's not many kind of in the fossil record to look at.
The exoskeletons.
I think it's to do with what the exoskeleton's made of and the fact that they're in the ocean. It just kind of gets swept away and broken down and doesn't fossilize at all.
Oh.
So it's difficult to know, but I did find out that they evolved 25 to 30 million years ago. And their shape probably happened because water kind of got shallower along that time, so the ocean level dropped. And to survive in shallower waters, it paid to be smaller and flatter and thinner. Because they came from a kind of pipefish ancestor. So pipefish are these like little pipe cleaners. They're thin and long.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're like related to them. It looks like if you picked it up and made it into an S shape, it would be a seahorse.
Well, I mean, if I was going to make an arts and crafts seahorse, I would use pipe cleaners.
They did find recently pygmy pipe horse is called, that looks like a combination between a seahorse and a pipefish. So that's kind of the only transition species they can find to say this is how they're related.
The transition
like,
one. It wasn't like the zonkey.
No. No. They transitioned somewhere on the evolutionary timeline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I could find about that. Speaking though of the zonkey to make babies.
That
was a
segue
reach for a segue, but here we are. Their mating season is kind of triggered by water temperature, so it depends.
So if it
part of
gets
the world they're
warm
in.
and cozy, they get frisky.
About like 20
Oh, it
degrees.
is warm. I took a chance because who the fuck wants to go fucking in the cold?
Nah, not these guys.
No.
So it kind of depends. The mating season varies depending on what region they're in, where they are, because time zones and stuff.
Poor UK ones probably like
they've got a very small window. They've got like one good week in May.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I know in Ireland, I'm from the west of Ireland, we've got like that mid-Atlantic drift. That like kind of warms it up a little bit for us. Like that kind of keeps it at a manageable level in winter and a manageable level in summer. But does the UK have that one, or are they just like hoping that the water's going to get warm from actual like just sun?
The North Atlantic current is what brings up the warm waters from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that bring it up to the UK as well?
Yeah. Brings it up to the UK, so probably when that warms and carries it up.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, yeah, the warmer water triggers mating, and this is where we're going to get into, we said we'd put a pin in it at the start. We're unpinning it now. The males are the ones that develop the young. It actually increases their chances of survival. And it also means that females can then just focus their energy on making more eggs. Because these guys are horny. Okay, they're at it constantly.
Oh, yeah?
See, for like the window in which the water is warm in its breeding season, they're reproducing that entire time. Like, as soon as the male gives birth, boom!
And again.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if the male is holding them, the male has to go through the gestation?
Yeah, because they give birth to live young, so they don't...
Oh, they don't just... It's not eggs?
Yeah, it's like actual fully formed. They're called fry, and they're fully formed, just teeny tiny little seahorses.
Would they be part of zooplankton?
No, because they're too big.
Okay. A little bit bigger than plankton then?
Yeah. You can see them with like the naked eye, you can see them.
Okay. And then, so, straight at it again, boof boof, bang bang. How long is the gestation?
They're in the breeding sac for 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks. That's short. Okay, so they're in there for 2 to 4 weeks, straight at it again. Is there any point where they keep the young, or is it where the young go away with the currents?
They put a lot of...
I couldn't say the word currents there.
They put a lot of energy into developing them, making sure they're healthy, but as soon as they're birthed, not my problem anymore. Yeah, as soon as they're out there, nature's problem now.
Yeah. And like they also just follow the currents.
Yeah, get carried wherever they are.
Hold on to something and then start chowing down.
Yeah. Fully at the mercy of predators, so survival rate is not great.
That's why they're shagging all the time.
Yeah, that's why they're... Because...
Is that a common theme?
Yeah.
If they shag a lot, they have a low birth rate survival, and if they don't shag a lot,
yeah, so you get to
usually works, right?
The bigger things like the dolphins and the cetaceans and things. I know they're mammals, so it is different, but for principle wise, they birth like one calf at a time, and they spend a lot of parental care and time to keeping it alive. Whereas if you're a little fish, you don't have a long lifespan, you don't want to waste too much energy on parental care.
You're like, this could be a bad batch and I'm not putting time into it.
But compared to other fish, they really don't give birth to that many. Like, compared to the millions of eggs that fish lay, these guys are giving birth to anything from dozens to thousands. There's nothing more than thousands.
So they're actually on a lower scale of the family.
Yeah, so this is also
why they're weirdos in multiple ways.
Yeah, freaks. This is also why they're constantly producing more of them, because they don't produce many at a time. So they just have a longer breeding cycle to get more out there.
In terms of like the length, I know other people can't see this, but the length of my arm, how big is a seahorse? I know the pygmy ones are quite small.
Oh, a seahorse is like your hand, like not even your arm.
Oh. That's way smaller than
not
I
big.
thought.
No, they're not big. They're not very big. Well, the ones that I've seen aren't very big. Big-bellied boy can get up to 35 centimeters. So that's like the length of your forearm.
That's like the forearm, yeah.
That's the biggest one. Most of them are about palm-sized, I would say. Or like from middle finger to heel of your hand. That's what I would say most of them are. I also learned males have a placenta, and that's how they give nutrients to the baby.
Oh.
The babies, they transfer them via placenta.
So it's quite similar.
But there's no umbilical cord, so...
Can they just pop out at any time? Like, if a current got crazy, could it just, like, shake them out like loose change if you hung them upside down?
No, they go through contractions, so they have to squeeze.
They have to go through birth?
Yeah.
And they want to go straight back into it?
Yeah. I don't know if they get a choice.
Fair. Yeah, the women are just ready.
Ready to go. They also are said to mate for life.
You say hesitantly?
Because if the male gets sick or if they are separated for too long a time, they'll just move on.
Oh. So they're monogamous while they're with their partner?
Yes. They don't have multiple sexual partners.
But they will move on?
Yeah.
It's not like a swan?
No, it's not like a swan. It's like, you didn't show up for me the last 3 weeks, so we're done.
Again, something to be learned from.
Yeah. But also, they abandon them when they're sick. That's a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, if the male gets ill, the female will just be like, okay, bye.
Bye. For not so much sickness and health then?
Yeah, no. But they do have... I thought this was so cute.
Yeah.
They have a little mating ritual with their mate, and they, in the morning, they do a kind of dance.
Okay.
So, like, they
This is
wake
every
each
morning?
other up. Yeah, during the breeding season, they, like, wake each other up with a cute little dance that involves, like, tangling their tails together. They swim in sync with each other, and they change their colours to match each other.
Aww.
It's actually very cute.
That is very cute.
Yeah. So it's basically them checking in.
And if one of them, like, wakes up and they, like, cough in the middle of the dance, does the dance immediately stop?
She's like...
I'm like, I'm not into it anymore.
Like, put a mask on it. Yeah, they do their little dance, and then they kind of go about their days. So it's like a little good morning. It's like, rise and shine.
Rise and shine, we're going to get laid. I never knew I had as a dirty mind as where you started telling me about animals, and all I want to know is...
Fairness,
not all, but...
In fairness, the things in the ocean, they fuck weird.
They do! It's 'cause it's weird. It's 'cause it's weird.
Yeah, so that's their sex lives.
That's it.
Cute, interesting, weird.
I am shocked that they don't mate for life. I thought they did. That is a misconception that I had. If they weren't there, what would happen?
There would be an overabundance of what they're eating, and then the things that eat the seahorses would also have less choice in their food.
Okay.
So it would probably trigger a trophic cascade and cause, like, knock-on effects.
Okay.
Like we talked about with the octopuses and things. Further up the chain.
Further up the chain. Mm-hmm. Okay. What does eat the seahorse?
Big fish, crabs, turtles.
They're hunted then? They wouldn't be what you'd call apex?
No, I wouldn't. You're like, nah. I would not describe the seahorse as an apex predator. I mean, maybe if you asked a piece of zooplankton, they'd say, hell yeah, that thing's terrifying.
Maybe if you asked a baby.
In terms of usefulness of seahorses, the biggest thing is that they're used in traditional Chinese medicine to treat, it can treat, like, different inflammations, like arthritis, but they can also treat male impotence, so they're used as, like, natural Viagra.
And does that work?
It's debated whether it works or not. There's not a ton of reputable sources that say yes or no.
It's like a bit of a what's that word for when you think it's gonna work, so it's gonna work?
Placebo
effect.
Well, there are studies that suggest proteins within seahorses are associated with, like, anti-aging and antioxidant kind of effects, but
they don't make you randy.
The general kind of research is, like, it's debated a lot.
It's debated, okay.
Yeah, as to if it's true or not. But the problem with this is that a lot of non-scientists and people in the general public believe it is. So they're super overfished for that specific reason.
Oh, so are they endangered?
Some species, yes. They are listed as either endangered or vulnerable.
Okay.
Up to 150 million seahorses are consumed annually.
Whoa!
Insane. They like dry them out and then crush them into powder so they can put it through like food or put it through tea or... So it is illegal to trade them, and bans have been put in place, but they're just traded illegally and they're just sold illegally. Yeah. They have tried to put in farmed seahorses so that they can sell those, but people say that they've not got a good enough quality. Like, it's not gonna cause what I want, have the effect I want to have because it was farmed rather than... But yeah, that's a big problem. They did also try to put in place so for like lobsters and things, to catch them, you can only catch them if they're over a certain size.
Oh, I know that guy in the lobster boat, the main fishing boat, and he like does like a little, he cuts off
the carapace.
No, there's this guy and he'll pick them out and he
cuts
look
off the barnacles.
And he cuts off the barnacles. He gives them a clean. It's like Maine something is his like TikTok, and because he's from Maine, and he shows how they give notches or whatever, and you can like see this one's a breeder, and he's like, we'll just re-notch her to make sure it's good and fresh, and like sends them away with a little fishy lunch. Yeah, I like that.
So you have to make sure they're a certain length because that's how you know they're old enough to have reproduced at least one time.
Yeah.
So they're trying to say you can take it if it's bigger than this, but people just aren't listening.
Yeah.
And especially because bycatch is the most common way they're caught.
Yeah.
I've got on the IUCN website that populations of 11 species of seahorse have declined by 30 to 50% in the past 15 years.
Oof.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Is that biodiversity again? Because there's a lot of them in the tropical.
Yeah. So it'll be like a range depending on the species.
Also, it sounds like a lot of them are fish too. Crazy number.
Insane number of them. They're kind of sold as ornaments as well, like to aquariums and things. Like home aquariums I'm talking about, not talking about big aquariums.
Ornaments as in like dead?
Yes, so I was meaning ornamental fish for alive in aquariums, but they are also sold as like trinkets. Like dried seahorses are sold as like tourist trinkets. Which just seems horrible.
Yeah.
To me.
Do you imagine coming back with a little seahorse necklace that was an actual seahorse?
No, not for me. One useful little website organisation I found when researching this was the Seahorse Project, and it has a nice little map of all the distributions of seahorses throughout the UK. You can also adopt a seahorse, which
adorable.
Is very cute. So go check them out if you haven't already. Get a little seahorse friend. I think that's all we've got time for this week. So thank you so much for listening to this episode on seahorses. I hope you learned something new today. We definitely did. What was your favourite fact?
I think, again, this is a tricky one because I feel like you pick some great facts when you're writing these episodes.
Well, you're thinking mine was definitely just that they're fish. that was my most mind-blowing one because I definitely thought
that they're wearing an exoskeleton. That they're ready for fighting. But no, they're not.
For battle. Well, because they're such bad swimmers.
Great if they were like bigger. They'd be great for sea warfare.
Maybe that's why in all the media they have them like riding them, like you see them in cartoons and like Aquaman, they ride them into battle.
Yeah,
like a war horse.
Yeah, like a war horse, but they come with their own armor.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Yeah, let us know what your favorite fact was, or if you know more about seahorses, if you're an expert, if you're researching them, let us know. Get in touch, and don't forget to share, comment, subscribe.
Any questions at all that you may want to ask your in-house marine biologist, Emily here, I'd highly recommend you do so. You can get in touch by one of the various social medias that we've attached to this account. So if you ever want to ask a question, if you want to ask her what her favorite socks are, I can tell you for today they are.
I'm wearing them right now. It's shark socks.
They've got
great whites, they've got whale sharks, they've got tigers. Stunning. My favorite socks.
They're great socks. Or if you would like to know what is the difference between a slug and a snail in the sea, not in land, because she won't answer that one. I tried.
Or if there's any animal you really want us to cover, any ocean topic you really want to know about, let me know. We'll get around to it.
Yeah.
So take care and stay curious.
Bye.